When Tav and I got together, we had one rule: no pets.
And then 2 feral kittens showed up under our shed like tiny fuzzy loopholes.
This is Tav. She bottle fed 2 tiny kittens every 2 hours like some sleep deprived feline Florence Nightingale.
Well, and this is Jim. And he thought he was putting his foot down. And he did, right into the litter box. And together we're Unretired AF. Hello, and welcome to today's episode where we're going to be talking about saying no to things. In our case, pets. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to our subscribers. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We really, really appreciate you being here. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And we hope that you'll consider hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes the thing you said never to is exactly what you needed.
You know, you just didn't realize it at the time.
Well, and in our case, the never came in the form of a very firm house rule, which was no more pets ever, ever, like ever, ever. We made the decision. No more animals. We were older. We wanted to travel. And we made peace with that decision.
We did.
We weren't having any animals. Now, we had animals in the past.
Yeah.
And they had all passed away. And we decided no more animals.
And we were very, very solid on that plan.
We were.
I mean, solid. And sold on the idea of not having anything for freedom.
Right.
But then October happened. You know, and maybe life and God, and he decided to throw us something and change the plot under our shed.
Yeah. Well, and enter the stars of this little unexpected drama, which were 2 sick, abandoned kittens. Their mother had abandoned them under our shed. They were sick, and she moved the rest of her litter away and left them there because she was trying to obviously protect the rest of her litter. And so she left them there, and we found them, and they didn't get the memo that we were done with fur babies. Enter October of 2023. 2 abandoned kittens, 2 weeks old. One of them didn't even have her eyes open yet.
Yeah.
Nikita, she's the black one. She had an upper respiratory infection. She had to go to of course it was on Friday, or no, it was a Saturday. At 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
The only place we could take her was to the ER, the vet ER. And so that she went in for that, and then we got McKenzie. McKenzie is the Seal Point one, and she ended up having fading kitten syndrome. We thought we were going to lose her, so she ended up going to the ER too. But I obviously couldn't leave them. I just couldn't leave them.
And I mean, honestly, what could I say to the patron saint of stray animals and lost causes?
Yeah.
I said, okay, we can foster them.
Right.
I was willing to foster.
Right.
I thought that meant get them well, find them a home. I didn't realize at the time that we were the home.
Oh, we were definitely the home. And not just the home. We were a full-service neonatal ICU for kittens.
Yes, we were.
I mean, we had the bottle feedings every 2 hours, which we had to go get the little bottles, the little kitten bottles. I had to mix the formula every 2 hours because you can't save it. The vet runs, I think within the first month, they each went to the vet at least 3 times each.
Yeah.
And they were never sick at the same time.
Of course.
So it was going, and a lot of times we had to go. I think we went 3 times to the ER vet, and then probably 3 other times to the regular vet.
Yeah.
And then of course there was that first month was $1,500 in vet bills. $1,500.
Yeah.
In our no pet lifestyle.
Yeah.
And we hadn't planned obviously on spending that.
But you did some research and you found pet insurance, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, every 2 hours, around the clock, came the bottle feedings. Then there were the vet ER visits, the worm treatments. There was, my sleep was a wreck. I slept on the couch for a month with them. They started out in a little plastic tub that came from like Home Depot, but they quickly could escape from that. So then we ended up getting a big, like little, well, like within the first week, we got a pen
Yeah.
that had a lid that zipped on, that it was screen and it was
Right.
soft, and they could go in there with their beds and their food and a little litter box, and
That's when they learned how to climb.
They definitely learned how to climb. I mean, they treated the house like it was a jungle gym with central air.
So honestly, I tried to stay out of it.
Mm.
I held out as long as I could until my sweet little Nikita, I picked her up. She curled up like on my neck, and I was just smitten. It was over. It was over.
It was over. And do you remember what you said to me?
Thank you.
No. This is what he said to me. He said to me right after that. Well, I can see how attached you are to the kittens. So if you want to keep them, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, the big softy here.
I was already choked.
But that's when the real fun began, because
Yeah.
once they were healthy, it was like full on kitten chaos. And let's talk about what life looks like after you give in to the kittens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since then, destruction. They've wrecked no less than 7 sets of blinds, because we don't get up early enough for them. Apparently, they want to be up at 5 a.m. and be looking out the window. And when they can't see through the blind, they just
go through it.
Go through the blind. And we've had so many little bits of blind because they bend it and they just fall and break off and whatever. So we've been dealing with that.
Yep, we have been dealing with that. But you know what? There's something really comforting about having a cat curl up in your lap. They're like a little tiny therapist.
And you can't move.
No,
they make you sit your ass down.
Yeah.
Because you can't get up if you have a
what
cat.
we got was way more than we expected.
Yeah.
And that was, that was kind of a tough time in both our lives. Just coming out of COVID and
it was really tough. I mean, honestly, we weren't joking when Jim said, earlier that we feel like God brought the little kittens to us, because, I was in a funk. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I was in a funk, and I think a lot of people were in the whole world. I mean, not even just here in the United States, but in the whole world.
I agree.
Everybody was afraid in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then there was it was like that panic, and it just kept going, because it seemed like every week there was some new thing to panic about.
Right.
And we found them in October 23. So things were still a little bit going on and a little bit crazy. And then, of course, we were in the thick of politics.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter what side you were on. It was
thick.
It was very, very heavy. Yeah. And the world was very heavy at that time. And I think those little girls gave me a sense of purpose, and they really needed me, and it felt great to bring them into our life, and I think it really helped.
Yeah, so. I do too.
Well, the takeaway from this episode is that sometimes you have to break your own rules, right?
Yeah.
Life doesn't ask permission; it just shows up under your shed.
Yeah, and what you might need is just to come wrapped in fur and vet bills.
Right.
Be open to the unexpected.
Right.
It might be the best surprise of your life.
Well, and I think that's really what we wanted the takeaway to be
from
this, is that, I think sometimes as we're older, we don't like surprises. We don't like the unexpected things. But, sometimes the unexpected things are really a gift, and be open to it. We just encourage you to be open to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a comment section. If you have any comments, or if you've taken in a stray animal, let us hear about that. And if you're an animal lover like we are, I just had no idea I was going to be a cat lover. I always had dogs. I never had a cat. But our cats, I will say, our cats are like some of the cats we see on YouTube.
No.
Our
Our cats are like they're like street.
they are. Our cats only want to cuddle when they want to cuddle, not
Right.
just
They're not like the cats on reels that are all snuggly.
No, they're
I
not.
mean, and honestly, at any given moment, Jim and I have multiple like wounds.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
do.
they scratch, but they're so sweet and they are so cute. But they are
And their
definitely.
claws grow faster than anything I've ever experienced.
Well, the reason they do is I have them on really good food
Good
because I'm a
food.
little bit anal retentive about that kind of stuff.
Good
Did
food.
so much. I mean, honestly, our cats have. I mean, they have freeze dried raw. They have carnivore kibble. The freeze dried raw is from Instinct. The carnivore kibble is from Tiki Cat. And then and then I give them a Viva Raw, which is a frozen raw food, which I thaw out and divide it up into bags and stuff. If you're interested in any of that, I'll put some links in the description for what we feed our cats. Because one thing I can say, we have 2 litter boxes in our house, and we never ever smell anything.
No.
And I think it's the quality of the food. I think it
Yeah.
comes down to the quality of the food.
Yeah.
That's the reason for that. So
So
anyway.
what is the only time that you can get them to come to you on command?
The only time is when I'm giving them their little treats. I can't even say the word. Well, we have them in the other room right now, but I can't even say the word treat when they're anywhere around because then they love me. That's the only time that they will openly like do whatever. But you know what's really hilarious? I give them their little treats, and they're like the squeeze up tubes of some kind of chicken treat. Um, I forget the name of it, but I'll put that in the links too because they love it. Um, as soon as the little tube's empty, and I'm like, okay, you're done. They both turn around and like they'll stretch and they'll like both of them just show me their butt. You know, they're not even 1 second of affection after that, but we love them for that reason. They make you work. Cats make you work for it in ways that dogs don't.
They do. They do.
So we love them.
Yeah.
But anyway, as Jim said, please feel free to leave us a comment about your pet adventures, or if you made similar rules about no pets and life changed your mind. And if you like our channel and you want to see more of us in your feed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We put out new content every day, Monday through Friday. Well, we're not slowing down.
And neither should you.
And together, we're Unretired AF.